we just saw 100-Foot Journey, and on this show I take my friends out, we go see a movie, and then we do a review in 2 parts. The first part is the review, it's spoiler-free. The second part is a discussion. It is spoilerific, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, don't watch the second half. If you have seen the movie and wanted to see what we thought, or if you don't care about seeing this movie and want to hear what we thought, check out the second part, and hopefully the first part will help you make a decision as to whether this is something you want to see or not. The 100-Foot Journey is pretty close to what I expected it to be. It is a cute little cooking movie, culinary kind of movie about people cooking in France, and there are not a whole lot of huge conflicts or huge problems that arise out of everything. There's a little bit of drama here and there, but overall it's just sort of a cute smile and enjoy sort of a movie. But for what it is, that's great. It was well worth seeing. I would say that, you know, it's a good movie to go see on a date. It's a good movie to just kind of go and enjoy. There's another movie out that's kind of a similar idea, which is Chef. And I would say that Chef is probably a better movie, just as far as the story that it tells and kind of the interesting part of the take on it. But overall, this is a very very enjoyable movie. You know, not threatening or pushing anything at all, but very very fun for what it is. What do you guys think?
I can't really speak on Chef, but I was really impressed with it. I mean, the performances were great. Helen Mirren is always amazing. I don't know who the lead guy was, but his
Speak up a little bit.
His acting was very understated. It was very, very good. I guess I had a little bit of problem with the writing. I thought the writing was a little lazy. It was your typical, we're from different parts of the world, and you know, we need to come together and make something beautiful, but we're gonna fight for a little bit.
Yeah.
I still thought it was a great movie. I also love Helen Mirren, and it's a feel-good kind of movie. You know, you don't leave depressed, you leave hopeful, which is always nice. So I liked it. I would recommend it.
Right on.
Yep. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Yeah, it's like Dale said, if you watch the trailer, you kind of get a pretty solid sense of what it's going to be. There's nothing, you know, different about it. The pacing at times was a little weird for me, because I remember at one point there was kind of a big turn in the story, and I'm like, oh, okay, we're kind of wrapping up. No, there's a whole hour to go.
Yeah.
and then you know, after that, for like the last half of the second act and most of the third, like the pacing was a little odd, but it didn't. I still had a really good time watching it. I never really felt bored. I was entertained the whole time, which for that kind of movie, because it's got like almost a 2-hour runtime, which is a little long for that kind of movie. But I didn't feel bored. I don't really feel like it dragged. Eat before you watch the movie.
Oh yeah,
because it's impossible to watch it.
It made me so hungry.
Yeah, I eat right before the movie, and I was still hungry at the end.
Yeah, we were stuffed tonight, and it's
all of the food looked fantastic.
Yep.
One of the Now, my earlier critique didn't mean I didn't suggest it. It was kind of reminding me of the Best Exotic Marigold. It was a really good movie, really good feel-good movie.
It's a similar type of movie.
Yeah.
I would, you know, honestly, I'd watch it again.
Yeah.
It was good. Oh gosh, I was going to say something.
Well, that's the quick version. That's the review. You know, if you don't want to hear spoilers or anything about the plot, this is the time to tune out, but we'll get into a little bit more of a discussion about it. So, you know, you've got the father and the son are sort of the main characters on the from the Indians' side, the Indian family that comes to town, and then you've got Helen Mirren's character, which she doesn't pass the name test because I just call her Helen Mirren the entire time. I never caught what her name was. Just like Madame something.
Yeah.
And that's not a really big, you know, knock against it or anything like that. I'm just saying that it's kind of hard for me to remember somebody's name when it's Helen Mirren. She's just such a iconic actress. And then Marguerite was the sous chef that sort of became the love interest for Hassan, the Indian chef. So watching all of those relationships sort of work together, and I thought it was cool that Marguerite sort of rescued the whole family, and then they ended up sort of building lives together throughout all of that. The whole, again, it's one of these things where, like, it's a very predictable movie, but that's not really a bad thing. Like, it's just a nice, comfortable thing to watch, and there's some funny things in it, but it's all sort of like, smile and chuckle kind of thing. It's like something you could watch with your mom sort of movie. And they did get into, like, the whole trope of, she saved him and brought him into all of this, and then he outpaces her or has success where she doesn't have success. She's the one that gets them the extra Michelin star, or he's the one that gets them the extra Michelin star, and then he goes off and becomes a big shot in Paris. And I liked that they didn't turn that into, like, a melodramatic, they didn't have, like, a say anything moment where he had to come back and, like, apologize or anything.
It was close. It was close.
It did get close. There were,
The rock on the window, I was like, oh God, here it is.
Yeah.
At least he managed to hit the window that time.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have the boxing
and not
gloves.
anger the old man. Well, I thought it was an underdog kind of movie. It's this kid that you kind of root for, and you really want to see him succeed. So that's always great to see him succeed. I did think that there was one thing interesting is the older Indian guy is not anybody I would have ever seen as a love interest for Helen Mirren in a movie. And I thought that was really cool because that's not something that you see a lot.
Yeah.
So
they sell it though. I mean, they make it.
No, it was great.
believable.
I thought it was awesome, but it's not something that you see a lot in movies. You would not normally go to a Helen Mirren movie and her end up with this older Indian guy. It's just, I thought that was really awesome.
And also, there's a couple things I'd like to point out, see if anybody else felt this way. At the first part of the movie, Helen Mirren is kind of a villain character.
Yeah, as much as the movie has one.
They drop that really quick. And in most underdog movies, there's somebody dead set against you succeeding. And there really wasn't for that one.
But the thing is that the reasons that she wasn't dead set because she was, like, evil or, whatever. She just felt like it was threatening this goal that she had. Like, if she had this junky, what she viewed as a junky restaurant across the street, she was never going to get her next Michelin star. So she just viewed it as a threat to her livelihood and her goal. It wasn't like she was just somebody who's like, you know what, those people, I just want to make them, miserable.
Yeah.
It wasn't that sort of thing. And so they didn't drop it completely. I mean, there was an actual turning point where she's like, wow, this is messed up and this is what I've been perpetuating. This has got to stop. Kind of ceasefire moment. And I thought that was actually done pretty well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it was natural.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to bring up is I thought that for the story really being about Hassan, did it not seem that he played a background role in a big chunk of the movie?
Yeah, it's an ensemble movie, but he's definitely the protagonist of the film. He's just a very quiet character.
He is, but the whole point of his character is that he's sitting there working, assuming person. So I thought that kind of fit.
Right.
Anyway, he's just that guy that's just toiling away in the background while everybody else is looking for all this glory. He just really wants to get good at what he's doing.
Yeah.
And so that was fitting.
There was the whole theme of, the French don't eat Indian food and they don't like Indian food. They don't want any part of it. And they explored that like a little bit, and then everybody got over it. Basically, once they convinced Helen Mirren that he had good ideas and that bringing in the different spices and stuff like that, the different
Yeah, I did think that was funny. Like, there was this whole theme of, and this French food is good, but you know what's going to make it better? Indian spices. And, like, that's what, like, that felt a little, I don't want to say racist, but it just felt a little weird that, like, oh, all we needed was a brown guy to come in and throw some extra spices in it. That does, I mean, it felt weird. I don't know.
Surprisingly, that's not that far off of reality, because, like, cooking Indian food is a whole different thing.
Sure.
It's like a whole different language, and the palate and the different spices and the different things they bring in there. You know, my mother-in-law is from an Indian background and makes all of that stuff, and like they, you know, her sisters and her send like spices back and forth to each other. Like, there's a serious, it's a seriously different way of doing things. Now, she's not like trying to make macaroni and cheese with, you know,
Indian flair.
That would be delicious.
Cumin and tamarind and
that would be delicious.
Something crazy like that.
I would eat that.
Well, but I mean, the whole message of this movie was, you know, not to be so closed-minded about something new and different. I mean, it really seemed that way, and not to think that you can't do something because of your background or whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was again, it fit with the whole message of the movie for them to say, okay, we're taking this 200-year-old recipe and we're gonna do a twist on it to make it something fresh and new, and that
kick it up a notch. Bam.
Yeah.
And that kind of is my one beef with the movie.
Your beef bourguignon?
No, pun intended. No, it goes back to the idea of the recycled story. You can even look back to the movie Dangerous Minds.
But who cares? I mean, it's still a good movie.
Well, no, it is a great movie, but it's...
You mean the part where, like, Coolio showed up out of nowhere?
Or? Well, no,
that
like
should have happened.
the white person and the dark person, you know, becoming friends, and then the only thing they didn't do was teach Helen Mirren how to dance. She knew how to dance already.
They took lessons.
Oh my God, no, you know...
But that was an even relationship. I mean, she wasn't this closed-minded, evil ice queen that warmed up and became, like...
Well, yeah, but neither was Michelle Pfeiffer. I'm just saying that it's kind of like we're here's a little bit of our culture, here's a little bit of your culture, and now we're best friends.
But there's nothing wrong with...
That didn't bother me at all.
But there's nothing wrong with that same message being told via a different story. I don't see any problem with that. I mean, it's still an enjoyable movie. No, it's not a unique message or plot line, but I mean, the way they presented it, I thought was really fun, so who cares? I mean, movies are about entertainment anyway.
Yeah.
It was a good movie.
And it's an English language film about French people and Indian people. So, I mean, the target audience is probably a little bit different than the actual people, you know, depicted in the film itself. But
I would have loved for them to break out into one Bollywood song, not gonna lie. That would have been amazing. Just like all of a sudden Helen Mirren just starts dancing.
That would have been the scene to do with Coolio.
That was the post.
That would have been amazing.
That was the post-credit scene.
Oh, we should have stayed. I feel like we were cheated.
That's the 100-foot journey. Hope you enjoyed our review. If you like the way we do these, please like the video, subscribe, and check out all the written and video reviews over on DaleMaxfield.com. Thanks for watching.